Hey YouTube, I'm back at it, making a pair of flatbed tongs from this scrap steel ring and learning a little bit about blacksmithing. Started out easy, just heating a section of the ring after I had cut it in one spot, then just pounding it flat. This part wasn't bad at all. Once I have it straight, the challenging part starts. The cross section of that stock is a triangle, and I need to pound the sharp corners back into the stock, basically just taking the corners off. The problem is they're very sharp corners and they kept wanting to fold over, and to make it even worse, it's not an equilateral triangle, so I couldn't put the flat part down and pound on the corner that's facing up. It was a funky triangle, so it was a bit of a challenge to take those corners off. Now I've got the corners taken off. I'm going to pound it into a square. So shaping this section flat, turn it 90 degrees, pound the next section flat. And you can see that square profile starting to form. Now I've cut it in half. You can see it's shorter. Each half's going to be one side of the tongs. So my next challenge is the stock is not thick enough for the jaws and the boss, the pivot area of the tongs. So I've got to upset it to make it thicker on the end. And what that basically means is you're pounding it longitudinally back into itself to make it wider. And as you do that, of course, it wants to bend, so then you're constantly straightening and then turning it vertically and pounding it into itself. And you can see it's starting to get thicker on the end there. And of course, it's bending. Keep straightening it out, keep pounding it back down. And I was able to add about 1/4 inch of thickness to the end of each piece. Now I'm marking some 1-inch marks to help me lay out my tongs. So this is my first set down. This defines the jaws of the tong. And there you can see the jaw starting to form there. Now this is the second set down. So this defines what's called the boss, which is the area where the rivet is and where the two halves of the tongs pivot against each other. This will all become clear as you see them come together. You want to keep the boss flat and pretty regular because that's where the two tongs are going to slide against each other. So this is my third set down. I used my index mark to measure, and that's defining the back edge of the boss, or the pivot. And just rounding the edges of the boss a little bit. Now I'm making the second tong. We'll do this one a lot faster. So there's the first set down, finding the jaw. There's the second set down. And the third set down. And there's the two together. Both tongs are the same basic shape. And right there you can see the boss is interfering with the jaw. So I'm using a grinder to make them fit together better. If I was a master blacksmith, I guess I could probably forge it to make it fit perfectly, but I'm not. I'm not fooling anybody. So center punching the boss, and I'm going to drill where the rivet's going to go. I could also hot punch this, but not having a lot of experience, I knew I would be more accurate using the drill press and doing it cold. Cutting the handles to length.
I got a little ahead of myself. Glad I didn't set that rivet yet, because I need to draw the handles out. So I'm going to show you how hard it is to start a charcoal forge. I'm telling you, it's rough. Alright, the blower is off. You ready? Blower's on. There you go.
This is playing in real time. I haven't sped anything up. It's really quite amazing how easy it is to get this forge going. Opening the air up a little bit further. And that's it. You're ready for some steel. Starting to draw the handles out. Have to be careful up here near the boss. And you use the edge of the anvil almost like a cross peen to help draw it out. And now I'm cutting it off with a cold chisel. And I had to stop the video and look for that piece of hot steel. It took me a little while to find it. I didn't realize it had flown so far. So now I'm rounding it off, taking the corners of the square off. There I left my steel in the fire too long. You can see all the sparks. That's what steel that's burning does. It looks like a sparkler. A little too hot. At least I know my forge is capable of getting just as hot as it needs to get. And it messed up that section of handle a little bit. It's thinner there than I wanted, but it'll be fine. So there's my two halves ready to go together. Pound the rivet in. And unfortunately, I didn't get footage of setting the rivet. My camera wasn't running when I thought it was. I think the reason it has that funny purple look is because of the fluorescent lighting. This is in the evening and the garage door is closed. Kind of a interesting look there. And now I'm putting grooves in the jaws. This helps a lot with grabbing irregular stock, round stock, and whatever it is that you're working with. close the jaws and pound to transfer the groove mark to the other jaw so they end up in the same place. Cool them off, and there you go. I just cleaned them up with a wire wheel, and that's it. So they're not the prettiest things in the world, but they are quite functional, and I'm happy I did it. Working from that ring was a lot more work than I was expecting. That's a lot of metal to move, and especially being in a regular shape like that. But thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.